Welcome back, history enthusiasts. Today we're stepping back into the Middle Ages to explore some fascinating aspects of medieval castles. Castles were more than just impressive fortresses. They were homes, courts, and often bustling village centers.
Without cement or concrete, builders had to make do, so they used a mixture of sand, water, and lime to bind the stones. Castle design evolved over time, from the early modern Bailey castles to the fortified stone strongholds of the High Middle Ages.
Modern Bailey castles were built on raised earth mounds, mottes, to give a height advantage against attackers.
Castle walls were often whitewashed to make them look more impressive, and so they could be seen from great distances.
The average castle could accommodate up to 30 to 40 people comfortably. Castle kitchens were usually in separate buildings due to fire risks.
Crenellations, the notches at the top of a castle wall, weren't just for decoration. They provided cover for archers.
Castles were designed with defense in mind. Narrow windows, winding staircases, and multiple gates acted as deterrents for enemy advances.
Drawbridges weren't as common as we think. Only wealthier castles had them.
Over time, many castles evolved into opulent palaces, losing much of their defensive characteristics.
Some castles were deliberately built with a tilt or asymmetry to confuse attackers.
Each room in the castle served a specific purpose and included such spaces as the Great Hall, solar, storerooms, and the garderobe toilet.
Moats were added not only for defense, but also for sanitary reasons, as a place to dump the castle's waste.
In times of siege, castles would hoard resources, sometimes enough to last several years.
Sieges could last from a few days to several years, depending on the castle's defenses and resources.
Many castles had secret passages for escape or covert entries. Inhabitants of a castle lived in close quarters, and privacy was virtually non-existent.
Castle defenses sometimes included murder holes in the ceiling from which defenders could drop offensive materials on attackers.
Not all castles were for monarchs. Lesser nobility, knights and bishops also had their own castles.
Some castles were never intended for war, but were status symbols of their owners.
The term keep refers to the strongest and safest part of the castle, often serving as the last line of defense.
The concentric castle design featured multiple layers of walls, allowing defenders to fall back and continue the fight.
Trebuchets, catapults, and other siege engines were employed to break down the formidable castle walls.
The size of a castle was directly proportional to the wealth and status of its owner.
Despite their tough exteriors, castles weren't invincible. Tactics like mining were used to bring down walls.
The decline of castles began in the late Middle Ages with the advent of gunpowder and artillery.
Many castles were destroyed or left to ruin. Some were given new life as homes, hotels, or tourist attractions.
The fascination with castles hasn't faded, and they remain iconic structures symbolizing the Middle Ages.
Wow! What a journey through the medieval world of castles. Join us as we explore other interesting topics in our next video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.